So I'm going to show you my collection of minimalist footwear. The collection itself isn't that minimalist because it's grown to be quite large size. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 pairs of minimalist footwear. Most of the stuff is Xero shoes, sandals, but I've got several pairs of Vibram 5 fingers and a couple pairs of Xero shoes, which they came out with subsequent to the sandals. So we'll start over here. These are the my first pair of sandals, my first pair of Xero shoes products as well. And it's funny because I'm someone who never wore sandals. I always wore sneakers, usually running shoes. And when I finally did go to sandals about 7 years ago, or 6 years ago, somewhere around there, I went minimalist. I went to the extreme. So these are the kind of sandals I wear. I don't wear anything thick. So these I keep, this particular pair I keep in the trunk of my car. So I like to drive barefoot, and I bring footwear with me because generally wherever I'm going I need footwear. But in case I ever forget to bring the footwear, I get to someplace and I don't have anything to put on my feet, I keep these in the trunk. Never had to use them yet. Let's see, I bought these. These are my second pair of Xero shoe sandals. And this is kind of a slip-on design. Now I still wear these, walk around. Don't run in this particular pair anymore. But the thing I like about these sandals is they just slip on really easily. You can just see how I just slip that on. I don't have to tie anything. And they just slip off like that. So these I put some shoe glue on a couple of times just to build up the sole where it's worn out. Let's see. This is another pair, the same type of sandal. I wore these when I ran the half marathon in Chicago last July. And then I have one more pair. These are fairly new. So these two pairs I still run in frequently. And neither of these I've had to build up the sole yet. There still isn't that much wear. And both of these have, I laced them with this lace that has some reflective material in it. I do a lot of running in the dark. And you can see the way I've laced these. I've got two straps coming out the bottom. And there's kind of looped through the hole there. I'm going to put a link down in the description box for, I think, the first video I ever made for YouTube. And it shows how I lace these things. It's pretty simple if you have something like that to follow. Okay, let's see. Let's look at some of these Vibram 5 fingers. This is the oldest pair I have. It's the second pair of 5 fingers that I purchased. The original ones, pair of KSOs, I finally got rid of them. But these are pretty beat up. I keep these in my garage, and when I do some work in the yard, I slip these on. It's called the Bikila. It's a design for running, and they don't make this particular model anymore, but I really like this Velcro closure. It's real simple. This is a little bit newer version of the same model. I was thinking of getting rid of these. They're starting to fall apart. You know, they've got holes in some of the sides of the toes. The holes don't really bother me that much. But I could put some more shoe glue on the bottom, as I have a few times already. And there's no reason I can't get more mileage out of these. So I think I'll hold on to them for now. But when I do run in 5 fingers lately, I'm usually running in this pair. This is the Bikila Evo, and it's supposed to be better than the original one. In some ways it is, but it's a little, I don't like the lacing system, but I kind of don't pay much attention to it. I don't try to cinch up the laces after I put them on because the material is very stretchy, so it already kind of hugs your foot. I just slip them on, slip them off. And the nice thing about these, they're very light. All this stuff, you know, is very flexible. That's the whole idea of minimalist footwear. Is it's not supportive, it's not stiff. So I have another pair of the Bikila Evos. These are a little bit newer. These I keep in my gym bag. And again, I don't bother tightening the lace. I just keep it set the way it is. So when I find I cinch the lace up, this little locking thing doesn't work that well, and it kind of loosens up anyway. And I don't need to have it tighten that much because this material, again, clings to your foot. It's very elastic. And these I wear during my strength training workouts at the gym. What's next? Oh yeah. These are my newest pair of Vibram 5 fingers. It's the original KSO design. At the 10-year anniversary of the KSO, they reintroduced this model. I think you can still get them, only in black, but they're kind of neat looking because they're totally black. And sometimes it looks like you just dipped your foot in black paint, I think. And I've run in these a few times, but I haven't used them heavily that much, so they're still in pretty new condition. Okay, let's get to the shoes. So, oh wait, let me just show you these first. This is a Xero shoe sandal called the Z-Trek. That's because when you put this on, it kind of forms a Z across the top of your foot. I really like walking around in these. These are really comfortable. It takes a little longer to put them on than the more simpler version, but generally I just tighten this, and there's Velcro back there. You can also adjust it here, but the Z-Trek, I really like these. So I wear these a lot, just walking around. So several years ago, Xero Shoes got into shoes. So this is just a casual shoe, and their shoes are based on their sandal design. So the bottom part, the sole, is basically very similar to this. And then they just put an upper around it. This particular one, it's called the Hannah, the Pari Hannah. And it's got a really heavy-duty canvas upper. These are going to last a while. I wear these to work most of the time. And again, I just have this lace tied like that, and I just slip them on and off. No need to tighten the laces too much. And these straps here are actually separated, and they pull up on what's basically a minimalist sandal base. And like the sandals, they're not quite as flexible because you got the upper, got a little more material, but they're still very flexible. There's no rigid heel counter. So philosophy is it doesn't interfere with your foot. It allows your foot to strengthen and function fairly naturally, while giving you a certain amount of protection for things on the ground that might be sharp or injurious. So that's the Hannah. Then they came out with a running shoe called the Prio. I never bought the Prio. I don't think I will. But I got into trail running, and I wanted to get something that would give me more protection, because when I try running with these or with these on the trails, it just doesn't work that well. We have real rough trails around here with a lot of jagged, sharp rocks. And so I can negotiate trails with these, but it just slows me down a lot. I have to do more walking, less running. So I bought these trail shoes. They're called the Xero Shoes Trail or TerraFlex. I did a review of these. I'll put the link to that review down in the description box. And again, I just keep this tied. I don't mess with this, and I just slip them on and off. It's got a fairly thin insole that you can take out if you don't want quite as much protection. It's got all these little holes in there for ventilation. And I really like this shoe because it gives me more protection. It's still minimalist, it's still fairly thin, but it's enough more protection compared to the other stuff that it makes a big difference. It's got a more aggressive tread pattern to help you grip onto rocks and dirt. And then it's got kind of a bumper here. If you kick rocks, it protects your toes. It's breathable. It's got this one thing when you're walking around in sandals, if you step into even a small puddle, well, the sandals don't matter as much as the Xero shoes, because these will get wet and hold on to moisture, whereas these dry out pretty quickly. But because they're so low, even if you step in a real shallow puddle, your feet get wet, the fabric gets wet. Whereas these, you've got at least a half an inch, almost a couple centimeters all the way around of some moisture protection. So if you step into a puddle that's not too deep, the water's not going to go right into the shoe. And so yeah, I've been doing trail running lately using these. So that's my collection of minimalist footwear. So later on today, I'm going to do a barefoot run at the local community college. So in other words, I'll be doing a run, and I'm going to take you along on that, but I won't be wearing any of this footwear I just showed you. Okay, so I'm here at the local community college, about to start a barefoot run. I do barefoot running once in a while because it helps me maintain good running form, good running technique, and the reason that is the case is because you have maximum sensory perception through the bottom of your feet when you don't have any footwear on. So that's the main reason I do it. I just enjoy it also. It helps you psychologically because it's a kind of a mindful activity in that it requires concentration, focus, because you don't want to step on something. You have to pay attention to where you're placing your feet. So let's get going.
I wanna lock in your love. I think we're close enough.